Take a look at how the Washington Commanders used Brian Robinson in the passing game last year. And a lot of the plays were designed. So they're obviously trying to get the ball into his hands after he had I guess, much better receiving season the year prior. But, with the new quarterback and a little bit of a different offensive scheme where, he's a little bit better of a runner. And his yard totals were maybe just a little bit lower than they were the previous season, and they maybe one touchdown fewer. But he also was able to contribute in the playoffs, which was a nice change of pace for the Commanders. So we just run through. He actually didn't have that many targets last year, only 25 total during the regular season. So just go through these and point out some of the good and the bad. He's definitely a big dude in the backfield. He has a pretty significant height to him. And he's decent in short yard situations, but yeah, as you'll see here, that's sort of an errant flag there. Not really sure why they need to call it one. That he's going to be more of a threat for the Niners in out of the backfield as a receiver, just as much, if not more, than as a short yardage back. So I'm going to throw it like somewhere near him. He doesn't have great hands. He's not like a great route runner, but the size and then just he only really runs at one speed, and it's not the fastest speed, as you see on this play. A nice overall play, but he sort of eases into it before catching the ball, and then once he does, he's pretty much at whatever his top speed is, which is it's not fast, but combined with his size, it's more than enough to be a threat to defenses. Something that they need to pay attention to. And this play, they have both Eckler and Robinson. In the game and on the line. So that's another thing that they do is they, put the line, either of those guys up wide in the slot. So there is a bit of what Shanahan likes in his running backs, but didn't necessarily get from Mason. You throw Mason out there on the outside and no one's really paying too much attention to him. One thing is there really weren't too many explosive plays. I mean, you had a handful of quote unquote explosive plays in the running game and a little bit of the passing game, but they weren't. He's not a home run hitter. He's no Mostert or a guy like that. So that is definitely not what you're getting from him. And I could have done a little bit better job trying to catch that ball. That was not one of the best passes you're going to see written from Daniels. This is game 2, so still in the beginning phase of Daniel's career. Let's take a look at these two plays. Clearly not the best setup. Not really sure what their center is trying to do here, but they obviously need to get somebody to the second level to take care of this. Was a middle linebacker? Because otherwise he's just set up in man. And they don't. And could have been some footsteps. And the play wasn't going anywhere anyway, but you don't really want to knock the ball in the air like that. This one, when I watched it the first time, I thought that maybe Daniels like hit somebody's helmet or something. But he just sort of threw this one on the ground. This was a 3rd and 15, so the likelihood of success here is somewhat low, but if throw to him a little bit earlier, maybe something. On to game 3. Again, these sort of design passes to force Daniels to get the ball into his hands. Daniels is not much of a check down kind of guy. And then week 4 in Arizona, which should one of his better games as a rusher. And this is a play where it could have potentially gone for a little bit more if he was able to hit him a little bit earlier. Certainly I had to slow down for the ball. I'm not really sure how much he's going to get on a play like this, but with Dino's having to exit the pocket so quickly. And avoid players very well. Just happy to get the ball off. That's on another 3rd down. So he's got a little bit of fight to him in the open field. Not necessarily the kind of guy you really want to be forced to tackle as a member of the secondary. But only so electric. Actually, before this play, so he was out the next game. He was injured when he was playing the game against the Cardinals. And then they lost that game. And then he was sort of in and out over the next couple of weeks. And I guess during that time, he missed 3 games. And then he was out of most of another game. And the Commanders went 1-3 in those games. They went 11-2 in the games that he was in. So another thing I'm trying to look at here is what is it about his presence on the field that correlates or corresponds or hopefully has some type of direct impact on the Commanders' ability to win football games, because when he's not on the field, they do have a problem, winning games compared to when he is on the field, at least last year. He only got one look this game. I do like the uniforms, though. So, a lot of screen action, a lot of, design throws to the outside. So now we are 2 weeks later, one win and one loss later. So this is a key game for the Commanders. It's always a struggle for me to call them that. And then so was the next game against the Cowboys, and this is another game where I think he had 11 or 12 snaps, and I think sprained his ankle, something to that effect. He was fine the next week, and I think he ran for like 100 yards that next week. But they definitely struggled as soon as he left this game. I think maybe had like one carry. And this maybe not the best play of the season for him. A little bit ill-advised of a throw, but I don't think he saw the big man in front of him here. We got to probably get picked a little bit. Take it one more time. It was throwing the ball where it's supposed to go. Be nice if it was a little bit more in a better place for his blockers to set him up for, running down the field and actually be able to block the guy in front of him. But it's a little tough on both players. All in all, it's really on the running back more than anything else. I just don't think he saw that guy expecting him to get blocked. He just sort of just run free, untouched here. So, yeah, I don't know. Not good, obviously. End of the world, probably not either. So, that was one of his last snaps. Here he is back against Tennessee, and game where he had a 100 yards rushing. But he had 3 of those in the year. And not as much involved in the passing game here. A little too much dancing for my liking. Commanders on bye, and then they come back against the Saints. This is where they went on their mini tear, and then the playoff run. Always like this where this is just sort of what you're looking for out of a big back in the backfield who can block, but then also can make not the most simple catch, especially if you were like a foot shorter. But having him as a big target over there in the middle, it's a nice little outlet. And again, more design passes. So maybe that's something that Shanahan will dial up this year to someone other than Juice. Yeah, Niners screen game was rather non-existent last year. If it wasn't going to like an obvious receiver like Debo that everybody knew it was coming to him. Big Week 16 games against the Eagles. Maybe not the nicest looking bastard. Pretty simple route. So again. Also took him a little too long to get out. Just stays straight to the right of the right tackle and right back inside. I mean, he might be trying to push the corner out here a little bit. I guess Sweat, like the outside linebacker. here. For me, that's enough. I guess Texas route a little bit too far. Maybe that's intentional. Clear things out. I watch the Commanders as much as I have to, being in the DMV, and actually, I don't mind them at all anymore. Historically, I've minded them a little bit, but I like Daniels a lot and Corn, obviously. Now they have Debo, and McLaurin is a fun player to watch. So definitely rooting for them over some other teams like the Eagles if I had to choose. And I did enjoy the victory over Goff and the Lions. It's one of the better playoff games. It's hard to tell. Maybe the idea here is that they're just really trying to play the middle linebacker, sort of push him out of the middle of the field here. But it does take him a little bit longer than you'd like him to take to get out there in the middle of the field. It looks like it's landmarks and numbers. I don't know if that's why the pass is a little bit too far in front. He made a little bit more of an effort there. I don't know. Take a look from the other angle again. Yeah. Again, for me, it's just too far to the outside. He's really trying to sell like he's going to be running outside route, and the middle linebacker, like, with the Eagles, it's like whatever. Their linebacker out there in the middle of the field is sticking out there in the middle of the field, so it's not really doing them any good to take so long. I'd rather him take a little bit more of a vertical route here, right behind Zach Ertz. And that just takes a little bit long. I mean, he was waiting for him. He gets his head around. Yeah, I mean, that's just a bad pass. But if he doesn't take it so far outside, it's again, like, never really know. But it looks like my guess is this is sort of a combination of a little bit slow into his route and then Daniel's a little bit fast trying to get the ball out and ends in an incompletion that, shouldn't have been. Because you get the ball here, where is it? Or it's behind him? Yeah, you got to figure that in this situation, your quarterback needs to be able to hit one of the two receivers coming across the middle here, because one or two of them are going to be open. Sort of a waste of what could have been a nice play. Hurts is even a better target here. The corners out there. No, it's like in chip. You really get some flip around. Oof. This has got to be a nice play for the Commanders, and it is unfortunate that it's not. I mean, obviously, Daniels is not going to be perfect. He was pretty much as close to perfect as you can expect a rookie quarterback to be. But, this is a little bit of a mess. And, they did have Gardner Johnson coming down, but still, the anticipation here would have, ensured this is going to be a successful play one way or the other. But can't win them all. As long as you win the game. Another play here where we're in 11 personnel. But we have Ertz on the outside. And it's going to become inside here next to the quote unquote big guy. And we have the three wide receivers on the outside here, including Simon there. Top of the screen. It's a Brown. Blocks the first. Little man chipping. A little bit of a chip here from Robinson too. And oof. Man. Yeah. It's just another play where there's so much mess in the middle of the field that just hope that this play is going to be going for a long, long gain. And I mean, it really doesn't, but yeah, I mean, that's a bad throw. Hit him in stride. I mean, like I said, he's not the fastest guy. He ran like a 4 or 5 something. Was his best combine 40 time, but he's not a burner. But at the same time, jeez, the defense sort of ignores him here. I guess expecting him to stay in the block. I don't know. They do bring a few. At the same time, they have the 3 guys to cover the 3, and they have another guy deep. So there's really no excuse. There's too far. And, maybe it's the safety's fault for coming down too late because he is, still trying to pretend that it's some type of too high look here, which would be surprising considering all of the wide receivers on one side of the field. I guess it's that he's supposed to rotate down a little bit earlier than this. Like maybe now. or now. By the time he does, really good safety play there. Not really sure who he wants. And then he sort of screens himself off. Man. Kind of play where if you have a McCaffrey or Garendo or any speedster out of the backfield, you're really looking for a house call here. It's sort of a shame that he just throws it behind him. But I guess most importantly, it depends on your perspective. But he does catch the ball on a 3rd and 5 and move the stick. So I believe that penalty was on defense, so it wouldn't have mattered anyway. Might as well just try to catch the ball as you keep on running. If only he knew. That's just not good. We expect him to be perfect. No quarterback's going to be perfect. But guarantee you that Daniel's wanted this one back. And also, I mean, he makes it a little bit harder on himself by throwing it over 98 instead of a little bit more under this ball. I mean, just a little bit, and just throw it a little bit more straight down the field, and he's just running forever. But it was not meant to be. All right, on to the next week. So here this is the beginning of the third quarter, and the like Commanders. It's been years and years. It's going to take a little bit of a while, right? Apparently, it's going to take a long time before I'm able to say their name properly. I'm trying here. The struggle's real. So they're down by 10 here in a game that the Falcons, like, that's what they're called, right? The Falcons. That, the Falcons are certainly looking to win. And, a game that the Commanders definitely want to win for positioning in the playoffs. It's a lot of time. Jeez. Lamar Jackson right there. That's blocking. So there's 3. That may be why. Yep. Oh, it is. So it's 1st and 20. Version 3. Yeah. Just those play calls I'm not a big fan of. And just a lot of guys standing around and not running away from defenders. You get a little bit from Ertz there at the end, but mostly everyone's just, running the route and turn around. So wouldn't be my play at all, but what do I know? Winning percentage is better than the opposite coordinator for the Commanders. So, yeah. Let's take your 5 yards and move on. Straight dump off. And we are now in overtime. It's overtime. 5 minutes to go. 24-24. And Washington is on Atlanta's 18-yard line, 1st and 10. It's very Debo-esque. And it's CMC-esque. They're throwing the ball to him like 5 yards behind the line of scrimmage. And he ran a long way to get 4 yards. That's our boy Jeremy McNichols in the backfield. Nobody pays any attention to. A little bit of attention, not a lot. I mean, they're really getting this ball out. Jeez, it's bad blocking. All right, we're sending that way. We're switching back to single high. 3-on-2. Sure what the options are here for Daniels, but it doesn't look like the greatest situation here for them be throwing the ball. Oof. Hurts. You bear that better. Whiff. And I guess after all that, and him having to run like 10, 15 yards for 4 yards, it's not the worst thing in the world. The outcome is could have been much worse. This is the lone play against the Cowboys. All right. A little violent there with Parsons. I like it. A little bit of confusion here. All in. Ooh, not the best blocking on the right side. I guess they have a rain. Yeah. The best work here. Like lining up. Pulls the guard to the inside. Center sees it. Can't do anything about Mike or middle linebacker. And then two more guys go on the outside, and our right tackle is blocking neither of them. Just pick one, and like all in all, and it's probably as positive of a play as you're going to get. A second and 11 with this type of blocking. But man, they're definitely ready for Parsons. Too bad he didn't come. That's that's one of the best defenders in the National Football League when he's playing. Joe Jones. And yeah, he can play. That was the end of the regular season, and now we're in the postseason, and there are like 5 plays that are all in the first game. That he didn't get any targets in either of the next 2 games, which is a little bit odd, but he was targeted, and he had a good game against the Bucks, at least from a receiving standpoint, in the first game of the season. And the Bucks are definitely, I'm not sure if you watched this game or not, but the Bucks are definitely trying to put the ball in, for some reason, in Daniel's hands and making him beat them, which he does. So that they're definitely keying in on the run, and there wasn't a lot of um, space or lanes to run in for the running backs. But there's a little bit of action out of the backfield as a receiver. So yeah, it's so much on this play, but still. Yeah. Washington's Titans are not very good at blocking. Like, I don't see this play here. And we have two tight ends. And, one will be blocking the guy there, but he lets him go. And then we have another one who's coming to the outside. And he's a block one guy, man. A lame TR reception. I like the north to south. Don't you like it? I would also like Daniels to get the ball a little bit earlier here. Like, you know what you're doing with it. Not unless I'm missing something. Where else are you going with the ball? This guy's crossing, but you're not going to throw that. You have a guy who's just totally uncovered over here. So just get on the ball. First and 10 for that's second quarter. 3-0 Bucks. 3 to that side, 2 to the battery side, but we have our running back type guy who is going to the field side, so should have numbers there. And 10 on that side. His job obviously is to well, it is not to do that. I like this. It's a nice little nuanced play by Robinson to hold the outside linebacker or the edge just a second, and then be able to sort of do the tight end's job by freeing himself to the outside here. I don't know if he doesn't know whether Rose has the ball or what, but just the one step inside. It's all that it really takes to get him free to the outside. The tight end really doesn't do anything. You didn't even touch him. I mean, at that point, it's like, what's the point, man? Just get there and block for him. Yeah, this is going to outrun that guy. But yeah, I like this way by the running back. Frees himself up. Nice to be out of the ball. But like I said, this was great. Hopefully he'll continue to be great, for him. And just, I don't know, just seems like a nice guy. And yeah, he's tight with some of our boys. Like every one of our wide receivers, past and present. But as soon as you see his eyes, you want the ball to be in his hands, and the ball's not in his hands. And you even have a corner that you're putting in pretty wicked vertical stretch, and he's going the wrong way. I put this ball in the running back's hands and let him run with it, or run out there with yourself since you're hella fast. But I just wish he threw it to him right here, and this would have gone for much longer gain than it did. But anyway, complaining about the Commanders. When we get a first down, by we, because he's like part of the team now. 13-yard reception, 1st and 10. Oh, I'll complain because it should have been more. But all things considered, I'll take it. So we are motioning to the outside. 27. Gotta memorize my defenders on the Bucs defense here. One of their corners. We're in some type of zone. We're not blitzing. It looks like we want to blitz. I don't know. Place like this, you can sort of tell he's not going to blitz. It's not very good in faking it. Would be my guess. So please don't go, because I really don't think he's going to go. He looks like he's trying to sell it. Oh, hey, there you go. I mean, you can still go from here. That's fine. But this is sort of like weak sauce by that's that linebacker there. Also a big dude. Like, you're not going, man. I mean, at least not. Maybe we'll go now, but you won't go back then. Nope. Nope. You can get that flat. You can cover that grass, bro. Lock it down. Okay. Yeah. Honestly, that's better than most of the 49ers normal coverage linebackers, and that he sees there is no one in the flat, so he gets out of the flat and like goes find something to do. So can't hate. Sort of something to do. He sort of gets in like the general vicinity of McLaurin. It's an interesting blowing. Right, so what's he trying to do? Let's go deep. The design here is to get the running back to the outside, have him appear like he's going to take a quick pass or a screen of some sort, and then have one too many defenders commit to that, and I think they want to go over the top. Would be my guess on this play, but Tampa Bay is not biting on it. So they probably just got unlucky with the play call here because they don't really send a lot of guys at all. They're spying Daniels, huh? I guess it's 2nd and 5. Guess that makes sense. But, they're only rushing 3. This is something that Daniels is going to, I don't even want to say like have to deal with, get to deal with, because good quarterbacks love this kind of thing. And, that's one of the many reasons why quarterbacks who run are, preferred in the NFL, because you're basically just taking a defender off of the field here. Unfortunately, they need some more talent out there running patterns than they do, because it doesn't look like anybody's really open. Rushing 3, You really want them rush 5 here. Why couldn't we have just blitzed from the outside here? Instead, outside the linebacker on one side. Who's Shaquille Barrett? This is a 3 tight end set. This is not the time. I mean, of course, maybe they're just trying to get Tampa Bay to close them a little bit tighter here by having 3 tight ends on the field. But they really only have Robinson, McLaurin, and then Ertz is a possibility here, aside from Daniels, and sort of limiting themselves offensively as to what they can do here. So, not my favorite choice in personnel. Easy for me to say. It doesn't really work very well. Red zone, we're pushing to the outside. You're sort of like wasting McLaurin here on the outside, on the near side. Not the worst, move there for start. 2 and 3 on the side. And then 2 and 3 deep. And then you basically really don't have anybody to throw the ball to here other than Robinson, unless he's going to run it, which potentially could have been an option if they didn't have the spy coming up like that. Just unfortunate, I guess. So the 2 Bates with the safety saving deep, and he's pretty much being bracketed. Then he cuts it off, and Daniels, if he knows that, should go there, right there. That's a little bit too late, but it doesn't really have other places to go to. I think at there it's just pushes their defender, Winfield, for safety, pushes them away using a summit. Yeah, whatever. A veteran move. And I guess he's open there for a second. But my guess is they wanted this to be a touchdown, and they didn't get it. So dump off, and they're waiting for it. Oh, very nice with a left guard. Oh, the passing lane. Just shut to the ground. It's a nice open field tackle by. It's not necessarily known for his open field tackling. That's it. That is his 2024 receiving performance. A couple more areas to look at. we will look at the various other aspects of his game and try to compare him a little bit to what the Niners have lost and given away, and how he will hopefully fit in the Niners' plans moving forward.